發財，祝大家新年快樂同埋牛年行大運。Hi, welcome back to Food Travel Shopping Channel, and you're watching Cooking for the Holidays. So you might be wondering, what holidays right now? Well, you might think of Valentine's Day? No, I am talking about Chinese New Year. It is the time where we get red envelopes. So for those who are Chinese, I wish you all a happy Chinese New Year. And I got some decorated piece here on my cabinet. Just to give everyone just a little festive here, just so I decorated. So for today, for cooking for the holidays, for Chinese New Year, I am just going to do one particular dish, and this is my favorite dish. This is the crispy coral fish. So let me show you how to do this. Now before we go into cooking, if you have not yet subscribed to Food Travel Shopping Channel, hit the subscribe button right now and hit the bell notification for the latest video and update. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so after we clean our fish, I'm gonna cut the fin on top because those can be pointy and it's sharp. So before we fillet it, we want to do this process here. Just simply cut off. Okay, so I have a black sea bass here, so you want to remove the fin on top. Alright, so it's like this. Also, we can remove the bottom. Okay, we want to keep the side fin here and the tail fin, the tail as well. So then the next process is we're going to chop off our head. So remove the head. We're going to keep the head. So with a scissor, you're going to cut this in half right here. And with a scissor, we're going to cut this right here as well. Okay, so that's the fin here. So we want to keep that, and we are going to fry the fin. And when we have it as a final presentation, then you can see, we will see the whole fish. So put this to the side. We're going to cut this as well. And we're going to leave this to the side as well. And here's our head. Okay, next we have our fish here. So we are now going to fillet one side first. So I usually start from the top, and you want to have your knife cut down here. All right, so you're gonna lean your knife against the fish bone, and you're just gonna make the incision here. Okay, so that's how we open up one side here of our fish. We don't want to cut all the way through here. We're going to leave the tail attached with the fillet part here. So there are still some bones here. We're going to remove those bones later on. So let's do the same process to the other side of the fish first. So as you can see, I'm really close to the bone here. So that's what you wanted to do. All right, so... Okay, so I'm gonna cut some of these joint here with those bone first. Now we can just lean this against here with the blades with our bone, and that's just help us cut it open. Alright, so now we have fillet the other side of the fish. Alright, so now we're gonna have to remove the bone. I'm gonna use my Chinese cleaver here. And we're just gonna... Okay, so we remove the whole fish bone here, and we're gonna discard this. Alright, so now you have your fillet fish attached with the tail. When we open it up, we still have bones here. We have to remove these. So we're gonna use our knife carefully. Just cut this piece out. So we're just gonna cut. It's like the rib cage of the fish here. Okay, so remove this rib cage. And there's some other bones. You just wanna use your hand to kind of feel around the fish. And if there are other bones, you want to just pluck it out. And the belly fat here, we can actually cut this and remove this piece. We don't need this. So we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. Alright, so I'm just using a plier to remove these bones. Alright, so after you remove all the bones, you want to just double check here, and you can rinse this and use your hand to feel around and see if there's any more bones. You do want to remove all of them before going into the next step. Alright, so we're gonna cut our fish here. So then when we fry it, it's gonna give us a very nice, when we wanna cut out a fish here, so when we fry it, it's gonna give us a very nice pattern. And it's like the fish it looks like it's fluffy. Alright, so you wanna make a vertical incision with the fish here. So you don't wanna cut all the way through and puncture the skin. So you do really wanna be careful here. When you cut, you just wanna cut the meat of the fish, and doing the same thing here. So ultimately I'm gonna make 4 vertical incision here. All right, so make sure we don't puncture the skin here. Okay, so it looks like this when we make 4 vertical incision. All right, so if you want, you can actually make 1 more incision here, because this spot we can actually make another incision. Just like that. All right, so then after you do that, we're going to slice diagonally down like this. And it makes the fish like very flaky, right? You're trying to make it so then when we fry it, it has a nice pattern. Okay, so when you're doing this process, sometimes I do miss some of the bone, so you just continue want to remove that along the way. All right, so that is how you do it. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So, all right, so once we do this, it gives us a very nice pattern with the fish meat. Okay, so some of you guys are probably thinking, well, okay, I'm not a big fan of fish because you don't like the fishiness of the fish, right? So we want to get some green onions, so green scallion in this case. So basically, the bottom part of the scallion is good because that's where most of the flavor is coming from. And I have 4 pieces of the ginger here, and you wanna just slice it. And I'm gonna add in 1 tablespoon of the white cooking wine. That's the Chinese white cooking wine. And you want to add in 10 ounces of water. Okay, we're also going to add in half a teaspoon of salt. All right, so with your hand here, we want to press and basically just bruise up the scallion, the ginger. You want to bruise it so then the flavor of those, the ginger and the scallion will come to the water. All right, so it will come out. All right, so just bruise it a little bit. Now, another thing that I would like to add is actually half a teaspoon of the white pepper as well. So that will also help remove the fishiness of the fish. All right, so I have a container here. Okay, so I have a container here. I am gonna put my fish in here. All right. I'm also gonna put in the fish fin on the side here, and as well as the fish head. All right, so with our marinated, these basically the scallion and the ginger water here and the cooking wine, we're gonna pour this in. All right, I'm just gonna add a cup of water to it so then I can really submerge basically the fish. So then we're gonna let this soak. All right, so we're gonna let this soak for 15 minutes. So then this will help remove the fishiness from the fish. All right, so just gonna break down our scallion a little bit more so then the flavor comes out. All right, I'm just gonna rip it out a little bit. Again, kind of bruise my ginger to more smaller pieces here. All right, so we're gonna let this sit and soak this up. Alright, so now we are ready to remove our fish. You want to take it back out and completely dry it first. Alright, so once your fish is completely dry, or somewhat dry, you don't have to dry it really thoroughly. So now we're gonna take the fish and we're gonna put it into our potato starch. Alright, so we're gonna put this into the potato starch and we wanna just completely flour the fish here. Alright, so you also wanna make sure the tail is completely flour as well. And actually, for those who don't know, you can actually eat the tail once you deep fry it. So we want to make sure we completely flour the tail so then it's extra crispy. Alright, so now we can transfer the fish over and we're gonna fry this once the oil is ready. Alright, so with the fin here, fish fin, we're gonna flour this as well. Alright. So we're gonna use the potato starch and flour that as well. We're doing the whole head as well, right? So the presentation will look very nice. Alright, so now we're ready for frying. Okay, so now we are ready to fry our fish. So make sure the oil is hot enough and it is 355 degrees. Alright, so I usually fry the fin first, so let's put this in. And I'm gonna put the head in as well. Okay, in the meantime, while the fish is frying, I am gonna set up a baking pan with some paper towel. So once the fish is ready, we can actually place it on top and let it sit so then the paper towel can remove the excessive oil. Alright, so we want to make sure we fry it until golden brown, so it has some nice color. Alright, so the fin side is ready, so then let's take it out. Alright, so look at this, how nice it is. Alright, so we're going to place it onto paper towel, so then let that sit and drain out the excessive oil. Alright, so the head, I just want to make sure it's cooked thoroughly, so I'm going to leave it in a little bit longer than the fin. Okay, so the temperature have reached back 350 degrees, so I'm going to take my fish head out and just going to transfer it over to drain the excessive oil. Alright, so now we're ready to do our fish. So you want to hold your fish like this, invert your skin and the fillet inside out here. Alright, so then we're gonna drop this in and you're gonna hold this temporarily. You want to temporarily hold this. So then we're gonna hold its shape first and then slowly drop it in. Alright, so we're gonna add approximately a tablespoon of oil. Alright, we're gonna add our ketchup in first. Okay, add our sugar in. We want to melt our sugar. Alright, so as you can see, the ketchup started to get darker. Now we're going to add in our rice vinegar. Alright, so let's bring that to a simmer. Okay, we're going to add our water in as well. Alright, so with 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and use some water to open up the cornstarch, and we're going to add this in to thicken the sauce. Alright, we're going to add in our peas as well as our pine nuts. Alright, so now we can turn off the heat and we're ready to serve. Alright, so now I've plated nicely with my fried fish on my serving plates. Now we're gonna add our sauce. We're just gonna scoop some over and in the middle like this. Pour some over the head. Put some more sauce here onto the fish. Right, we don't want to overdo it. And we're gonna pour just a little bit more sauce here on the side here. And the remaining of the sauce, I'm just gonna pour it on the side here. So then it looks like Our fish is swimming. And there we have it. This is our sweet and sour, crispy coral fish. A typical Shanghainese dish. Look how nice it is. If you think this is a very attractive dish, please give me a thumbs up and hit the like button below. If you have not yet subscribed to our food travel shopping channel, please subscribe right now. I wish you all a happy Chinese New Year. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for our next video and update.